Okay, next up we'll go Manolo, TAB Deportes.
Yes, Nathan, Tap Deportes here from Puerto Rico. How do you feel being named coach of a team that has so many heritage, basketball-wise, you being an ex-member of a Puerto Rico national team, how does it make you feel? And, everybody in Puerto Rico is jumping in 1 feet of joy because of your new job here as a head coach. How do you feel about it?
Well, I just feel ecstatic about, this honor of being chosen the head coach here. Coming from Puerto Rico, it's in having represented the national team, I feel it's also an honor to that experience that kind of helped me in my coaching career to be able to relate to different players from all around the world. And the Jazz, of course, has some history with Carlos Arroyo being on the Jazz team here. So it's almost kind of ironic that now I'm here, because I end up having my last season with Carlos. And then I jumped here into coaching here with the Jazz. So I found it ironic, but it's also a nice feeling. It's also a nice feeling, and to be supported by Puerto Rico, it's a very, very good feeling. I'm very appreciative.
You had a lot of coaches back in Puerto Rico. Who did you pick the brain the most? Flor Melendez, Julio Toro, Eric Casiano. Who do you pick the brain the most?
Well, Puerto Rico has some great coaches, and I connected with a lot of them, Manolo Cinchon, Flor Melendez, and then, of course, Julio Toro. Julio Toro was by far the most memorable coach that I had. I have a lot of memories with him, especially because, we won the championship with Bayamón. So that was a very special experience. So I kind of have a lot more memories with him. But the rest of those coaches, the rest of those people, they're great people, great coaches, have great basketball minds. So I'm very appreciative that I was able to be under their wing.
Thank you.
All right, we have another question from Manolo.
Yep, it's me again. Sorry.
No problem.
You had a very serious injury that, you couldn't play for the national team in a specific time, but mentally you were pretty tough. How do you plan on bringing this type of toughness to the new players that you're going to have on the team? Not only because somebody might get hurt, but how do you prepare them mentally? How do you think you're going to be preparing them mentally on type of injuries like that you might have?
Well, that's something that, I try to use to my advantage. My injury was very tough. I had a very tough few years dealing with that injury, trying to come back, rehabbing for a long time. It was a very serious injury, but it was almost a positive in a way because it just gave me a perspective from that side of the game that not a lot of people talk about is the injury aspect. So that side of the game, I was able to kind of use that to relate to players in certain ways, because I have had players who have gotten injured, and I have had players who had to go through very long, strenuous rehabilitation. Mm-hmm. And I was able to kind of use my knowledge on whatever I had and whatever I went through to be able to, give them hope and give them guidance and give them advice on, their next steps in rehabbing. And also the mental aspect of it is very important too, because, it's more about mental than it is the physical. Mm-hmm. So being able to talk to players, being able to kind of mentor them, guide them through that process, that's something I definitely take into coaching, and I'm definitely going to use in the future to help players if they're ever in that situation, and just from the overall view of just mentally being tough and being in the moment and focusing on what you need to do from day to day.
One last question regarding the new G League. This league is going to be having a lot of potential stars, a difference than in other years. The people that are not going to go to play in college, they're jumping in directly to the G League. How do you think that will be prepare your team and make it a little bit more competitive on the league? How do you your thoughts on it?
Well, first, I think the I think the league is already competitive. I think the league it's grown so much over the years, and it has a lot of good players. And then I think just a large influx of players coming, NBA players coming down to the G League and honing their skills and being able to get that experience, it really pushes the competitive nature of the league. And now you add in the aspect of high school players coming into the league, being able to work on their game and gain a full pro experience. That just adds to the competitiveness. That just adds to the credibility of the league and to how tough it really is for players to be able to play here and be able to expand their games.